So, how can you protect your home slash RV if you are full-time RVing from creditors during a bankruptcy? And how did we get on this topic? Well, 2 weeks ago we published a one-off video about a problem that some RV parks were experiencing. Yeah, now I kind of feel like Alice, you know, down the rabbit hole. That problem is RV squatters, you know, sneaking in after hours, hooking up, staying for a night or two, sometimes up to a week or two, then slipping back out. It's something that will eventually affect all of us in different ways, like increased fees, increased insurance, etc. As if to add insult to injury, Arizona's governor recently vetoed a bill that may have protected homeowners against squatters, allowing for law enforcement to remove them. That video for us exploded. Thank you. An offshoot of this success is that it ginned up tons of great comments, as well as some very thoughtful suggestions. You guys are a bunch of really sharp cookies. One of those suggestions spurned its own video, which was about the Arizona Supreme Court. A couple of RVers who sold nearly all of their assets to satisfy creditors, including their home, then moved into their motorhome as their primary domicile. A creditor evidently didn't think that that was fair, so they pled to the Arizona Supreme Court for relief so they could seize the motorhome as well. And the courts ruled for the creditors, in essence, leaving the couple truly homeless. A sort of discrimination against RVers, so to speak. This video once again has all of you fired up. The response has been awesome. Some of your comments have been astoundingly creative, hence this video. We all need to assume that whatever comments and suggestions pontified on here are not to be considered legal advice. Real attorneys in the courts would probably not take kindly to any other assertion. If you want to provide bona fides that you are, then, well, awesome. But my uneducated, humble advice is as follows. Not one suggestion slash piece of YouTube advice will work for all situations. Each state, county, and general jurisdiction has its own take on matters of law. The only truly binding document is the U.S. Constitution, and folks still can't agree on its meaning. So if you really need help, please seek proper legal counsel. Goodness knows, I can't even get my state majority leader to return an email. Now that I've muddied the waters, let's get on with the meat of the matter. Once again, our community has risen to the occasion. Because most folks don't read more than the first couple of comments, we'll show you a couple here which should really get you thinking. Number 1, from Seawolf. Seems like the Arizona Constitution may be a help in this issue for those who use their RVs for non-commercial purposes. Article 9, Section 2. Property subject to taxation. Exemptions. Section 2A. All property in this state that is not exempt under the laws of the United States or under this section is subject to taxation as provided by law. B. Property that has been conveyed to evade taxation is not exempt. C. The following property is exempt from taxation. 1. All federal, state, county, and municipal property, of course. 2. Public debts as evidenced by the bonds of the state and its counties, municipalities, and other political subdivisions. There we go. 3. Household goods that are owned by the user of the goods and that are used solely for non-commercial purposes. Our second one comes from JC Creates. If you are making payments on anything, including a house, you have to reaffirm on it to keep your house, car, etc. I think they're talking about during a bankruptcy. Good points. Number 3 is from Kim Benelli. Look at Arizona motor vehicle rules on mobile homes and the rules on property taxes. If a landowner sets up a mobile home or double wide on land and removes the tires, it becomes part of the land and falls under property tax evaluation. If it is left on wheels, set on the land with or without a foundation, the motorhome is taxed yearly by the motor vehicle title rules. Offhand, not hearing the whole story, even if this was a home under Arizona law, it's still an asset, not a homestead exemption. Hope that helps. P.S. Not a lawyer, but own property and an RV. Number 4 is Yantru Akmat. Sorry. Could this be remedied by simply putting the motorhome/RV of any kind into a trust or an LLC? I'm no attorney or financial advisor, etc. However, it would seem that either of these methods would protect the RV from being removed if any bankruptcy or other financial lawsuit took place. It's a good point. I am so impressed with all of your comments. You have definitely thought this out. My take on this situation: what happened to these RVers is a travesty, but something we should all learn from. Bankruptcy laws in this state and across the U.S. are convoluted and confusing. They are not something to be taken on lightly. Not saying these folks did, but think about it. Not that long ago, if you filed for bankruptcy in Arizona, you were on the hook for 7 years. If I understand it right, it is now 10 years. Another push by creditors whining to the courts. Big money talks. Lots of us are, so to say, in the twilight of our lives and may not survive that length of time to see daylight again. Before any of us commits to anything of this magnitude, we should all seek counsel from someone with the legal and financial background to help. We could be putting ourselves into some serious legal jeopardy by not following the experts' sage advice. The creditors and courts can go back months, maybe a year, to see if you've been attempting to hide assets. I've heard that some companies will put young attorneys on retainers to sit in bankruptcy court and argue to reclaim your washer and dryer if it was purchased with their card. Discover. If you don't own it, you may only have to reaffirm with that creditor. But will they accept your affirmation? There are too many options. Get help from an expert, do your research, and be ready to be in it for the long haul. We pray that none of us are in this situation. We also understand that today's economy is not helping any of our confidence. Once again, if there are any legal eagles out there, it would really help if you would chime in right about now. And of course, if you all have any other thoughts and/or suggestions, we would love to hear them. We are wishing you all the best. Please, travel safe.
When the White Queen once again wears the crown, on that day, I shall fut-a-wacken vigorously.